Hi guys, so I've been putting a lot of thought into it, and for a while I didn't want to really get too personal about my past, and I was trying to keep the videos now in the present, but I think it would only be fair to speak out on some of the struggles I've experienced as a mom. As a young mom, I was pregnant when I was 18, and I had June when I was 19. So, I don't know, I think I was not as young as it could have been. I did a good job waiting until I graduated, and I, was already out of the house doing everything on my own. Sorry, my hair's a mess right now. But I still struggled really early on, and I did things pretty early, becoming a mom at 18. And I don't regret a single thing. I am so happy where I am, and I'm so happy I'm having another baby. But still, I could have made things easier on myself, and if it were the other way around and June were in my position, I guess I would see where other people are coming from, like it's too early or whatever. You're still a kid. But for me personally, I think I wouldn't be given anything by God that I couldn't handle or anything like that. And I've handled it pretty well. And I want to talk about my past and how I handled it and how I handled being a single mom. Obviously, I'm not single anymore. But for a good chunk of June's life, she's only 3, but still for a good chunk of it, I was a single mom. And I think it's time that I talk about that. So, we're living together in his mom's basement, and we've only known each other for maybe 4 months now. 4 months. And I get the wild idea. Let's have a baby. And this is where people are going to get mad. Like, what the hell are you thinking? I was in love. And let me tell you, I had been in a lot of abusive relationships before Jesse, one way or another, and he was the most genuine person I have ever met, and he still is, and I think he's the biggest reason why I am as mature as I am now. He's taught me so much. I was definitely at a point in my life before I met him where I thought I would never have kids. I didn't want kids, and I just fell so in love with him that I wanted to have a baby for whatever reason, because I thought that was a great idea, living in his mother's basement, having a kid. But hey, it's what I did, and he agreed to it because we were that in love. We were crazy about each other, and that's where the problems began. I got pregnant, and we didn't know until I was 9 weeks. It's crazy, trying to get pregnant, but not knowing. I don't know, it took forever. It was my first time. You think you know what to look for, but it takes a minute to be like, okay, I'm really pregnant. And I had been working, he had been working crazy hours, and we were tired, and we just adopted a kitten that was keeping us up all night long. So I just didn't catch it. It took until I was about 9 weeks pregnant to be like, I haven't got my period. Have you? Probably should check that out. But I was being so hormonal, and at this point in time, his mom and I were already fighting. And I pushed him too hard. I pushed him away because his mom was pushing, and I was pushing back, and I was pushing in every direction because I felt like I needed to stand my ground. And it got really bad. Him and I knew we were pregnant when I was about 9 weeks, and we didn't say anything to anybody yet, but I think everybody started to kind of get the idea something was off. And I remember when I first told him I was pregnant, and this is like the hardest thing ever, and I don't want people to get mad at him or anything. We were both so young, and I just want people to understand right now, this is a learning situation. You need to learn and you need to grow, especially being as young as we were. This is why people tell you to wait to have kids, because you're already so young and you're still not fully developed in your mind like you are when you're older, and you don't know how to handle certain situations, and you let your emotions take everything instead of thought process. But the night I found out I was pregnant, I told him, and he told me I need to figure something out. It became real for him, and he panicked, and it was, you need to either get rid of the baby or you need to find somebody to adopt it. And I stayed up all night crying. It was the worst thing ever, because I was like, we wanted this baby and we have this baby, and now you want me to get rid of my baby. And that wasn't happening. That was never a thought in my mind. That was a no. But somehow I knew that we weren't gonna stay together, I think, and it was just hitting me. I was like, I'm gonna be alone with a baby. Somehow I knew, and it was just so hard to hear from the person you created this life with to get rid of that life, and that life was no longer wanted or loved by the other half that created them, and it was so hard. And I finally opened up to his mom about her, because I was cramping a lot at the time, the stress. I really thought I was going to lose her. I mean, it was horrible. I was having contractions, and I was only a couple months pregnant, and I was just an emotional wreck, and I thought I was going to lose the baby from all the emotion. And yeah, so stressed, and she works at a hospital, actually, so of course I was like, maybe I should just talk to her about this. And I was like, basically, is this normal to be in this much pain, blah, 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 I'm pregnant. And that led to him going to work one day, some point that week, and when he was gone and it was just me upstairs and I was playing video games with his brother, that's when I started gaming, his mom and dad came upstairs together, and they were just telling me all this stuff like, that's not Jesse's baby, you need to get rid of it, you need to figure something out, he doesn't love you, he's not going to stay with you, you're going to be doing this alone, so you should figure something out, you know, don't have this baby. And it was really horrible, and I went to him, and he didn't want to do anything about it, and he was a different person back then, too. He didn't know how to, like, stand up for anything, and he didn't want to deal with all that stress. It was too much for him, you know, he was so young. That's when things got bad, and we all started fighting, and I was like, this is my baby, and nobody's taking that away from me. And, you know, of course it's his baby. Like, I live here, where have I been? Like, other than going to see either his cousin that we used to live with, because she lived just up the street, like, it was a 20-minute walk. So I'd go to see her, I'd go to see him up the street as well, on his breaks, and we did not make it. We got to my 19th birthday, and that was the day we found out June was a girl. And he bought me flowers and this, I think it was cake for my birthday. Like, he got me like a little cupcake cake. It was really cute. And then, yeah, just a little bit after that, we broke up. And I don't know, it got really hard and it got really difficult. He wasn't there for much of June being born. He told me, he goes, I'm going to go take a shower. And he came back as I was ready to deliver. But, I mean, he got the room set up. He got her crib up and everything, so that was pretty nice. But, didn't stay with me. I stayed there in the hospital for 3 days, and he didn't stay with me for any of that. And then when we came home, he was gone for a week, and he was out doing God knows what. And then there was just a lot of different things, and I didn't know how to handle it. So things just kept getting messy for like a good year. From June, before she was born, till she turned a year old, things were messy with everybody. Any kind of drama you can think of with his family and him, it was there. I decided to move out. One of my girlfriends was going to have a baby in 6 months, and she was the one I ended up not doing the video on, but she was the one that I just found out was talking with. That's a different story, but we don't talk anymore. She's crazy. She was just talking about kidnapping my son, and there was like a police report out on her and all kinds of stuff. So once again, back then, didn't make the best decisions. I didn't really know her. I knew her through Jesse's cousin's friends. Like, she was related to one of Jesse's cousin's friends. So really far down the line, but I was just like, yeah, I need help, I need a place to stay, and I've got money, and they knew I had money. That was the thing, I had good money back then. Once again, bad decision. I should have stayed with his mom, but there was so much drama and I didn't want to deal with it. I thought it would be healthier to move out. Uh, they called CPS on me. They got upset. They thought I was not going to let them see June anymore. And so one of them, and I still don't know who, and I don't care anymore, you know, like, it's in the past, but one of them called CPS saying that I was abusing June, she wasn't being fed, that I scratched her, which my doctor already, like, had given me a letter for, because, you know how babies, once they start to get nails and they're learning to move their, well, once they start learning how to move their hand more, their nails, they can scratch themselves. She scratched the back of her leg, and I had acrylics. There was no way I could scratch her. I had the just normal squared off thick acrylics, like, they're not sharp, they're soft. Makes no sense. But they tried. I don't know what they hoped to accomplish, because I don't know. She's like a chunky kid. Well, she was a chunky baby. She ate so good. I loved putting rolls on that girl. I love chunky babies. But through that time, I hardly ever saw her dad. I remember working 3 shifts at one point at my job. I was a manager at a McDonald's at the time, and I was exhausted, and June was learning to walk, and she got out the front door, and there's a road just right there, and had I not woken up to that door slamming, and she ran. She was a fast kid. I don't know what would have happened. I'm not kidding. I've had my days, and I've had my moments where I'm probably going to cry now talking about it. It was so hard, but I busted my ass. I had a job, and I was always working, and I missed so much time with her, and that's my biggest regret, but I wanted to take care of her. I didn't get child support. I didn't really ever see him get help. It wasn't until she was almost a year old that he started coming back around. He gave me $200 a month for daycare because I paid the other $200, and then, you know, my $400 for rent. And that was the only time I'd see him. He'd just drop off the $200, say hi to her really quick, and then go. And I think he babysat her like once. But through that entire time, we would still text. And I learned we're not going to get anywhere by me, you know, bitching at you or complaining or begging or trying, because I had tried. I had begged and cried and pleaded for, you know, him to watch her for an hour or so I can sleep, and I wasn't getting it. And I learned to suck it up. This is my baby. I chose to have her. I'm a big girl. I'm going to do it. And I don't need your help. I don't need your money. I don't need you. And that mentality got me through. It got me through so many hard times, and it gave me a sense of accomplishment and strength, and, you know, just so many things that I didn't know were there, a backbone that I didn't know I had. And I think I'm a pretty good mom for it now. And then something else I realized I needed to start doing was, despite my frustrations and the emotions I had, remember that this little girl loves her dad. When she would see him, she'd flip out. So I put it in my mind, it does not matter how I feel about him, or, you know, my past with him or any of that. What matters is she loves him, and just because I have a problem doesn't mean it should be her problem. And I made sure to never make it her problem. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to be mature about this. And that's another key thing, is maturity. You know, you need to know that you are strong and that you can do this. And it is hard, but you're going to get through it one way or another. Even if you're doing this alone for 18 years, you know, you're going to get through it. You're a woman. We are strong. We are meant to get through anything, you know. Men cannot handle half of the crap we handle. And second of all is maturity, because your children are watching you. they see how you guys, act together, if you guys treat each other with respect or not. And despite you being together or not, how you two treat each other as, their parents actually sets them up for what they're going to find in a relationship later. And I want her to have a good relationship. I want it to be healthy. So even if we're not together, our relationship needs to be healthy. Coffee break. But I have it on the floor. Sorry. Uh, so when he'd come around, if I text him anything, I kept it mature and I kept it respectful. I didn't want her to see me being rude to him or anything, so he'd come over, I'd ask about, how work's going, how he's doing, that kind of thing, be nice, and step away and let him have time with June, not to, helicopter and micromanage, like, you're here right now, even if it is just dropping off money, you're sitting down feeding her, and that's giving me a break. I'm gonna go, like, brush my teeth or shower or something. You have fun. For the, 20, 30 minutes you're here, hold on, let me go do something, and you have fun. Have time with her. And that's a good thing, too, is to not micromanage or control what they're doing with their child, because even if they're not around enough, that's still, like, that's building a relationship between them and the child, in my opinion. And I'm not going to annoy you or make you feel like every time you're here, I'm going to micromanage you to the point where you don't want to come over and see your kid anymore, because the mom, me, is getting in the way of that relationship. No, thank you. Build what you need to build. And that actually did build things for our relationship as co-parents, when I started to be respectful and I started to be mature and also not act like he was still this need or obsession or anything like that, like, I've got my own life going, but I'm glad to see you, nice, cordial type of stuff. I think that started to catch his attention. And that wasn't really my intention, but I mean, hey, it worked. It, got to the point where, she was maybe 8 months old, and he was like, can I take her out? I want to take her to the mall and get her some, outfits or something. Have fun. I need some sleep. Take her, go. I didn't sleep. I panicked the whole time. I was not used to my baby being away from me, and I was freaking the hell out. And I was like, hey, you guys done? Coming home? Good. I'd been begging and crying for this moment for so long, and I finally got it. And I could not wait to have her back with me. And that's the only time I think I was really bad. I was like, how you guys doing? Done yet? Bringing her back? And he brought her back in the cutest little button-up dress. It was like a dress, onesie. It snapped at the bottom. And it was so cute. And I was like, thanks. Like, I didn't realize I don't have any dresses for her, really. Like, thank you. And then, yeah, he just started coming over more and more, started talking to me, like, as a friend. And I think that's important, too, is to be friends with the parent, of your child. I got to the point where, big things like promotions, he would let me know. And I wanted him to know, even though we're not together, I'm proud of you. And the fact that you're moving up in life and you're making changes. So, I'd send him pictures of me and June smiling and being like, we're so proud of you. June's proud of you, Daddy. Good job. Like, way to go. And that would make him happy. And just being cordial and mature and happy for each other's success, whether you're together or not. When the other succeeds, build them up, because when they succeed, your child's going to succeed. That means more for her, That's what I saw. Like, you're going to be making $20 an hour? Great. Take her out to do something fun, more outfits and toys and, get her snacks, that kind of stuff. That's good for her. And that was another thing. I never asked him for anything, money for myself, anything. I always took care of myself. But the fact that he was doing better means she's going to do better. And I was proud of him for that. I was proud of him for moving forward in life and building him up in that way, once again, is like stepping stones towards a better relationship as co-parents. I mean, it got to that point. She was a year old. It was her birthday, and that was the day I moved the hell out of that chick's house and went back to his mom's. Her and I had been talking for like a month, and she was like, yeah, you need to come back. And I was like, please, because I'm losing all of my money and just all kinds of stuff, you know. June and I are not okay here, obviously. And during that point in time, too, I was starting to build some kind of relationship with his mom. And we didn't start getting along until I moved out and got into this place. So for almost a year now, we've been getting along, which is great. But even then, like, she always helped, and she's a great person, but we didn't get along. And she was like, you need to get out of there, and you need to come back. Like, that's what's best for June. And he had his own house at the time. So once again, we're not together, we're not living together. But that also helped. Once she hit a year old, we'd already been, you know, friends, cordial, talking, getting along. It got to the point where he would start coming over and helping babysit June. And this is where he really started to step up. And I'm so happy, because doing it alone for a year was not easy and it was not fun. And I needed sleep so bad. And he started losing sleep so I could get sleep. I started working. I left the fast food place and I started working at Ulta. And I agreed to be on the truck team every Monday, which means 4 o'clock I was there every Monday. And he got off work at 12 at night. So he would sleep for like 3 hours, drive the 15 minutes to his mom's, pick me up and get me to work by 4 in the morning, go back home, sleep for another hour and a half. June would wake up, because she was always up by 6, like 5, 6-ish. And he was so sleep deprived, and he would have to go to work again around like 6 in the afternoon, I'm thinking. But he started doing this for me. He wanted to help watch June. He wanted to make it easier on me. And it was easier for him the days I didn't have to go in early. But he was still so tired. And he did this for about 7 months. I mean, he really toughed it. So, yeah, he started stepping up more and helping more and offering rather than having to be asked, which was really nice. And, I mean, it took a year of my efforts to just be cordial for it to pay off, which it didn't need to pay off for me, you know, only June. But still, the fact that it helped me out, you know, was amazing. And, got to the point where it was like, hey, are you hungry? Yeah, sure, why? Let me take you guys out and let's get food. And we would do this for each other. We started going back and forth, getting food for each other and just doing nice things. And he actually started coming over to his mom's a lot more to hang out. And at this point, we didn't even realize it, but we started acting like a couple, which was crazy. We were just like becoming really good friends. So we started hanging out, TV, playing video games together, eating. I'd be like, hey, I know it's your day off. I just ordered this huge pizza and a 2-liter. Would you like to come over and eat with us and play some games or watch a movie? And he'd be like, sure, let's hang out. And he'd come over, and it got to the point where when he would watch June for me, I'd be like, just stay in my room. It's okay. While I'm at work, you can just, instead of having to, you know, lug her all the way back to your house and, you know, go back and forth, just go ahead and you can stay in my room, sleep there. It's easier. You don't have to wake her up. You get more sleep. He was like, sure. And we started getting really close, being friends. And then, I mean, yeah, there were some benefits at points. But we really started just being there for each other and caring for each other again. I mean, I'd be walking home from work and he'd be at work, and it was just a routine. I would call him and we'd stay on the phone for hours talking, and he would annoy the crap out of me because back then he just couldn't be serious. He was immature, and I still was like, whatever, we're friends, and I would deal with it, and I'd mess with him back. And I don't know, like, it got to the point where we started getting each other like Christmas gifts, and I would spend holidays with him and his family, and he would take me. I remember One year, everybody thought I was being a jerk or something because I asked him to take me home, and I felt so bad. Like, he drove all the way up to his grandma's, which was like an hour and a half drive, and it was snowing and dangerous, and the winds were terrible. Like, he took us all the way up there, and he, wanted to hang out with his family, but it was my second year, I think, away from my family, maybe my third. It was like hitting me hard that year, and just seeing him with his family, like, it made me so sad. I was happy for all of them, of course, but I was so sad being away from mine for so long, and June being a year old and really being able to understand some things at that point, like not knowing my family, and I was about to break down and cry, and he was so kind. He took me home, and I cried the whole way there, like back to his mom's house. And he got food. I don't even know how the hell we got food. It was Christmas. I don't remember what was open, but something was open, and we got food, and we watched a movie, and he snuggled me, and that's when things started to turn from just being friends with some benefits on the side every once in a while, to like being closer. It felt like we were in a relationship again, but of course we weren't like labeling it like that or anything. And I wasn't thinking of it like that. I was at the point where I was happy being alone, and I didn't want to get back with my on again, off again boyfriend. I was just comfortable being alone, just me and June, and having Jess around. I didn't need him to, claim a relationship with me or anything. I was just comfortable and happy. And then, I don't know, at some point our friendship turned everything into something more. And Jesse messaged me one day, and he was like, look, I know I've messed up. I know I've hurt you. I miss you so much, and I'm starting to realize, like, I don't want to be alone. Like, he was like, I love you, and I want to be back with you. I want to fix this, and I need to know what I can do. Basically, my answer was, you've already done so much to fix this and to show that you care and you want to be around. Like, I know that you made a mistake, and you've been working really hard on making up for that, and you still have some making up to do, but like, I don't know, I think the love was always there, and it was not a hard decision to make. As soon as he wanted to fix things, I was like, yeah, let's do this. And for the longest time, I did not trust him, and I waited for the other shoe to drop. I waited for him to leave again. I didn't put too much faith into anything. I kept having that mentality of taking care of June on my own. Nothing's changing. We'll see. Like, first you got to prove it to me. And here we are today, I guess. He's really, really proven it. And we're at the point where trust is not an issue at all whatsoever. The pain of the past is not there, and I am grateful I had that past, and I'm grateful I had that pain, because it gave me strength, and it taught me so much about myself, and it helped me become a person that I love. And I look back at the person I used to be, and I'm so grateful that I've had this time to mature and change. And I'm so glad that him and I had a chance to really be friends. Like, we did everything so backwards. But I'm happy we did, because I tell you right now, I love the man so much. I'm gonna cry. I love him so much, and he is just my rock, and he's my person, and nobody could ever compare or come close to anything, that we've gone through. And I don't regret a single thing. I mean, we are such good people for it, and better for it, and June's better off for it. I'm sure had both of us decided to just keep being immature, June would be suffering for it right now, and we'd still be single, and I'd be making terrible decisions, and he'd be making terrible decisions. I don't know. I think both of us decided to start being mature. Both of us decided that we need to co-parent, and it's not about us, it's about her. And in doing that, we fixed our relationship. We fixed so much, and through that whole time, June never once ever. She still hasn't. She's never seen us fight, which we've never really fought. I don't know. We're weird, I guess. Like, we'll argue. Everybody does. But I don't know. It's not like to that crazy extent of fighting. It's just like something, I don't know. It's not loud. It's not yelling. It's nothing like that. It's just talking like this, disagreeing and agreeing to disagree and getting over it. And I think because we've always had that level of maturity and respect towards each other, like, we didn't screw her up with, thank God. um, she's always just seen us happy, and I think that really sets her up for success. I don't know if him being gone for as long as he was has affected her in any way. It doesn't seem like it, and I hope not. But long story short, and this has been a long, long story, I just wanted to give you guys a little piece of my past. There's been so many hard times, but through it all, I think we're way better off for it. We're a happy family. We love each other so much, all of us, and I think that past and everything's what helped us wait until June's going to be 3 by the time Elijah, because she, and oh my god, 4 days. Oh, she's getting so big in 4 days. She's going to be 3, but we waited so long to decide to have another one, and our last one, because of our past. That helped us really be mature about that decision, but it also helped us realize that we're ready to have a bigger family and, in the future to really actually get married. I call him my husband all the time because when we first got together and got pregnant, somebody suggested we file for common law, and in Colorado they consider that a real marriage, but we've never got like a certificate, haven't changed my name, haven't had a wedding, but that's something we both want. I'm rambling, but yeah, because of all of that, we are inseparable, and we're more happy and we're better off. And if I can give any bit of advice to anybody out there right now that's dealing with being a single mom and that heartbreak, because that is a betrayal, being left by somebody like that when you're pregnant, no matter what the circumstances, like for you emotionally, that's a pretty big betrayal. All I can really say is the baby comes first. Of course, you always focus on the baby and yourself. I don't mean being selfish and going, you know what I mean? I mean focus on your physical, emotional, mental health. That was always a hard one too, and that's, if you guys want, I can do a story on PPD because I had that terribly too, and I have had some struggles. But really focus on your health and happiness one way or another. Find a way to be okay and happy. The baby is always number one. If you don't have a relationship anymore, then that's not the focus. I know it's hard to take in, it's hard to hear, it's hard to accept, but the quicker you do that, and the quicker you show that level of maturity, things will get better, even if you don't get back together. That's not the goal. That wasn't my goal when I was acting the way I was. It was for the benefit of my child, and that's what really matters. I think if everybody on this planet could put aside the pain of their circumstances and think about their child before themselves and do what's right for that child and give that child a good, healthy relationship to view, even though you're not together, it's still a partnership. I think in the end, everybody would be so much better off. It's better for the baby, and I've said even though you're not together anymore, they're going to model what they want in a relationship later off of the way you were acting. So if they see mom and dad was mature and they handled everything so well despite how hard it was, I want somebody in my life that can be like it will benefit them so much, and they will love you so much more for putting them and their emotions first, because whether you two are together or not, that baby loves both of you. It loves the grandparents on the other person's side and the aunts and the uncles, and their love and relationships are so much more important than ours. That's my story, you guys. Sorry I'm rambling. I just thought I'd maybe give a little bit of my past to you guys and let you know what I've been through. It's not butterflies and rainbows. I might seem happy on camera, which I am now. You know, I'm happy. I can't even explain how lucky I am for being as happy as I am, but I have had a long, hard road that, you know, I had to cross to get here, and yeah, I have so many stories that I could tell and advice that I could give, and that was just one of them. I spent a good almost 2 years being a single mom, and it was really hard, and I appreciate all the single moms out there, and you're so much stronger than anybody realizes, even than you realize. Right now you're hurting and going through tough times, so you don't even see how strong you are, but your kids, they see it, and they love you for it. And I love you for it because you're awesome. So that concludes this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching my messy ass story, my messy ass life. And yeah, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.